Okay. Someone has a loud keyboard.
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
It's not our responsibility.
Okay, one of the things that we found out today, okay, the postmasters are not the paymasters anymore. Okay.
It's not our responsibility.
Someone's got some feedback coming in.
Just a second, Mike. You're talking to someone in the background. Mike in China. Mike in China.
I can do.
Mike.
She wants to alienate those children from the family.
Mike Familari.
Yo.
Yeah, mute your mic.
Yes, do *6 because we can hear you talking in the background and we can't talk.
Okay. *6.
Right. Okay.
No, you're on Skype, so you have to go up to the microphone and click on the mic under the
Oh,
picture.
right. That's right. You can't do *6. You have to, on your Skype, you have to do click the microphone and get the red bar across it. Got it?
No, I'm on a mobile phone.
Oh, you are? Oh, then you should. Well, it's still you can't do *6, so you're going to have to do something to cut the background noise down.
Yeah, just hold your thumb over your speaker or your mic.
Yes, Mike Familari, Gary brought on. He's listening to us from China.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
So the postmasters are not the paymasters. I found that out too. They took my passport in, and they wouldn't accept it.
Well, the deal about the post office and everything, the local postmasters, in 1966, they took the postal savings accounts and shut them down. Okay? So basically, at that point in time, they removed all paying for the postal savings accounts out of the postmaster's hands, and they gave it all over to the Federal Reserve bankers. You could thank old LBJ for that one. Okay. And basically, he was in bed with the bankers too, to bring about the demise of that postal system out there. Now, you have to either, and see, at that point in time, all the Social Security cards did not have a bank routing number on the back of them. It was after that point in time that they turned around and put the bank routing numbers on the back of the Social Security cards. And that's what we didn't see until today. And I went in and talking to the postmistress, and on the way in there, I got thinking about that. I said, oh, hell, I knew that one. When they shut down the postal savings accounts, that's what happened. And then we knew that I got my Social Security card back in 62, and it didn't have anything on the back of the card. And that then most of the other ones after that people were getting all started to have the other routing numbers on the back of them. The bank routing numbers that you would be assigned to. See, they had to give you a remedy, okay, but they didn't have to tell you how the remedy was supposed to be operated. It just had to be there.
So that must have been around 1963, 64.
Was when I got my Social Security card. And see, that was a Treasury routing number. Okay, that's all the Social Security card is. That's why they say there's no money in the Social Security account, because it's just a routing account number. Okay? The passport or your certificate of registration, which sets up your citizenship, okay, makes you a citizen and also gives you a citizenship. And then with the passport, you claim that, okay? So that's what that passport's about. They gave you identification as a citizen in their charter organization, military, religious complex, and then but they also had a financial vessel there that they tried to keep from you and utilize for their benefit and their benefit only. Now, just like in the military, okay, when I was in the service, basically I said I quit. I was 28 years old. I was out of the service in 3 days. Pissed off the old man, but basically I was out in 3 days. I went into limbo, and basically they went and liquidated my military account. All my vacation, everything else. My travel pay was all given to me on the third day in a paycheck. They purged all my records. They gave me a copy of all those records, and then I turned around and I gave them my passport back, my identification card, and my right to my pay account. And that's what I just put into the Postmaster General today. I had Tom post a letter up there yesterday going in. Now, if you don't have a passport, you use the certificate of live birth. That's your your citizen and your citizenship registration form. That set up an account there. And see, that registration form can be the claiming form for that account. If you haven't got your passport, but you crucify the registration, and then basically that would also apply to the citizenship account. And you do that, and if you're over the age of 25, you turn around and do that, get that into that Postmaster General's hands as quick as you can. You assign him to be the executor over that, so that he is the executioner. You're the crucifier, he's the executioner. Just like in the Hebrews, they put a red mark above their door, so they crucified basically their document. Okay? And then basically in Jesus' time, he crucified his contracts on the crosses. And then it was the Romans that basically executed it. In Moses' time, it was the Hebrews that had to execute it and give the assets, or the pharaohs that had to execute it and give it over to the Hebrews or the Egyptian rulers or whoever. But see, there are certain laws out here in banking that you have to follow. Now I know how one of my friends, who was a Jesuit priest, turned around and exited being a Jesuit priest. He ended up getting married and got a couple kids. But he exited the religious order. Because there is nothing out here that basically is not under this type of scenario. You crucify the document, and if you're of age, then they have 3 days to honor and get you out. But see, we were going to the wrong places in trying to do this. I sent my passport in twice to the Secretary of State's office. They kept sending it back. Why? Because it had value to it. It had the citizenship. And that's a vessel that carries cargo. Now, one of the other things is we probably should just go directly to the Treasury and love thy neighbor, write out a money order using our Social Security number and our passbook savings account or whatever, whichever phase we're in. Okay.
This is Moral. How you guys doing?
When you get up to out of the system and you get over to the other checkbook side, you would turn around, you just go to the Treasury, and you have them send a Treasury check to that utility company or to the car dealer. You make your money order out to them and order them to make the payment to the car dealer. Don't mess with these local banks. These local banks are not going to honor most of our stuff because it's infringing upon their profits. We could shut down every one of these local banks. And really, you don't want to have anything in these local banks because when they close the doors, you ain't getting anything out. You'd be better off having it in a coffee can in the backyard and run the risk of somebody finding it and ripping you off. But mark my word, these commercial bankers are going to rip off one hell of a lot of people, even safety deposit boxes. When the doors close, you can't get access to those safety deposit boxes either. And there's no way of proving what you had in those safety deposit boxes. So, there again, you'd be better off having it in a coffee can in the backyard. Or in a couple coffee cans. Or a couple different places stashed across the country. But see, we go and we could pay forward. You figure out how much you're paying a year for utility service. You make them out a check for $5,000. If your utility bills are only about $4,000, make it out for $5,000. They will and basically set up a account with that utility company. And then they won't have to go to the bank and borrow that $5,000. In other words, they don't have to pay $5,250 back for a $5,000 loan. That's loving thy neighbor, okay? When you can help them out of not getting tied up with the money changers. You're also then helping everybody else out because then you're helping keep the inflation down. And we're driving the snakes back down in the holes. Take the money away from them. So we just totally bypass them. My stuff got in. I faxed it in to the Postmaster General. My crucifixion documents, my affidavit, and also a copy of my hospital birth certificate as my lawful claim. I'm coming in as a non-conformist because I don't conform to anybody else out there. And I don't think any of you other people out there are clones. So you've all got to be a non-conformist. You really don't conform to anybody else. So being a conformist you're a clone. Now, are you a clone of a charter organization? Like a walking around, what the hell was it, back in the Scarlet Letter, all those Puritans or whatever, all dressed alike and everything. Okay? I don't think there's too many people out here that really dress alike. They all have something a little different. Except for the religious people, and they all run around their gowns, collars, and everything else. Oh, yeah, we're such pious asses. That's the way most of them are, really. Thinking they're next to God. They don't even know where God's at. It's underneath their feet. But that's where we're at, okay? So my stuff, I sent it in by a certificate of mailing. I put that in the fax also that the wedding signature copies are coming by certificate of mailing, and it was posted in the mail today, so that I'm giving you a heads up fax. So hopefully this is my Easter week, death and resurrection. Moses did it quite a few years before Jesus did it, the same time frame here. He did it last week. Jesus did his this week. I don't know when Daniel did his. It's probably about the same time. Jeremiah and all the other prophets that trying to wake the people up. This whole scenario is the same process. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, I really don't give a damn. I put my effort into this. Basically, if you think you got to have a black card, so like some person on the group site there said, well, I got my black card, and you guys are all doing it all wrong. Well, I hate to say that I don't think the card we want is black in color. Black means death. So, whatever that guy's talking or smoking, I don't know what the hell it is. And then other guys out there, well, you're doing it all wrong because we tried that a couple of years ago. Yeah, we did it a couple of years ago, and we were using the wrong account numbers, you dummy. But some of these guys are just shells and just trying to entice and scare the living shit out of you. You guys have to get on that group site there and fight back against those shitheads. Okay? So, right now, it's open mic. I'm done. I'll listen.
Hi, it's Christopher calling here.
Yeah, Chris.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have Patrick. My computer's faxing out, so we will probably be cutting off. And it looks like, Chris, right now that's correct. We're over 60% now, so they may not be here. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, you're breaking up, and I can hardly understand what's being said.
Tom, you're all broken up when you speak. I don't know if it's a Skype issue or what, but can't even make out what you're saying.
What he's saying is just go ahead because
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and talk a little while. I'll shut up for a while, okay? Tell about your experiences. I told you about mine.
Yeah, I just want to point something out that's happened to me and, a friend of mine that I knew. He was living with me, and he was involved in prime bank notes, promissory notes back in the day when we thought these were real. And he actually had a transaction that completed, and the guy who had invested billions of dollars, he was visited by the FBI, and he was told not to be involved in this because it was a scam. And yet he had just completed a transaction. He then showed them the paperwork, and they walked out without saying a word.
Yeah.
So believe me, when Patrick says that these guys are going to come in and start saying it's not right, it's not real, and all that, it's true. They don't want you to know this stuff.
My question is how are they going to claim it is scam if we're having success and things are processing through and there's evidence of accounts that exist? Like if there's a scam, the scam will be on their behalf and not our behalf, correct?
Yeah, but see, they will try and come after you and intimidate
They rely on people to be afraid of them.
So I shut them down. I asked them to explain, well, if this is such a scam on my behalf, why is my name attached to this? Why is my Social Security attached to that? Can you explain to me that?
You don't want to have them explain anything to you, and you don't want to have to explain anything to them. But you don't want to be causing chaos out here, and that's all they really need to know.
I just brought it up because if they're coming with accusations, you have to be able to defend yourself. The fact of the matter is that there are accounts that exist. People are having success. These accounts are directly connected to the Social Security number, which is supposed to belong to us. Therefore, if they have connected an account to our Social Security number, we should be informed of what account that is connected to. In other words, the fraud is on the opposite end for the account that was opened up connected to our Social Security number, and not on our behalf.
You want to make a claim or a threat?
Huh? What did you say?
I said, do you want to make a claim or do you want to threaten? Which are you?
No, that's an inquiry. There's no threat or. I mean, the claim stands as it is. I mean, the inquiry is.
You're inquiring whether they're doing fraud?
No, the inquiry is to explain how this is standing as it is. How is my Social Security connected to an account held at the Treasury Department that I have used to pay off bills successfully?
Right. See, most of these triple letter outfits, they have no idea. And most of the agents that are out in the field have no idea how this thing works, or else they probably wouldn't be working in that outfit. They'd probably be out there working at some other deal in the long run, instead of being out there intimidating people, because these people don't even know and understand how the system works. Why are we drilling oil overseas when we have more oil in this country? It's because basically the oil companies only get 10% profit in this country, where overseas they can get 70% profit. So they get us out here in the military to go fight a damn war and clear the ground for them overseas, so that they can come in and drill their oil wells and make 70% profit over there, instead of staying here at home, defending the land, drilling an oil well here, taking their 10% profit off of the oil here, and then basically the royalty check goes to the military, 10% there, and then the other 90% of the remaining goes into the people's accounts. Because everything below the ground in this country really belongs to the people. And see, people don't understand that. I explained that to the Secret Service, just left them dumbfounded. You have to look at this thing in a broader picture. What is going on everywhere? How do things really work? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? We were told to read the Bible as a little child, and a little child always asks the question, why? But Mommy and Daddy didn't know the answer to the question. The teachers in school didn't know the answer to the question. And then basically they just started intimidating little Johnny or little Susie, and little Johnny and Susie just stopped asking the question, why? You people have to start asking the question, why? What did I do wrong? You show me. I was trying to do something right for the benefit of the country.
Megan.
Not for my own back pocket. You tell me what I did wrong.
You have to tell them.
That's what I was bringing up as far as.
Yeah, I know that's what you were bringing up. The other girl was, I don't know what she was trying to lay in there, but you have to stand your ground, and they will back down.
All you don't argue with him. You just say, I accept your offer.
No, you don't accept anything. You basically tell them they have to explain their position. What the hell are you doing here? Why are you trying to intimidate me? Okay?
Well, just prove your claim.
And basically you have the right of veto because you're an executive officer. You're over the age of 25. You have the right to veto anything out here.
You can ask them, is there a problem in paying a debt? And bringing down the national debt? Is there any problem with that? You have a problem with that?
Let me ask you this. Who are you paying down the debt? The debt is owed to you. The biggest debtor in this country, or creditor in this country, is we the people. We're not the debtors. The corporations are the debtors. They owe all of that shit back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's the deal. We don't pay their debts for them.
So when it's paid to you, it's bringing down the national debt.
You cancel the debt. Okay? You veto the bill, like the IRS sends you a bill. You veto
You're bringing
it.
down the public debt, nevertheless.
No, you don't understand the debt system, okay? You think you do, but you don't, okay? I can guarantee you don't know how this national debt works because most people don't. You've got the wrong understanding of it. You've listened to all these other nitwits out here like Alex Jones and Ron Paul and all these other people and ARP and everything else talking about how the national debt belongs to the people. It don't.
Not the debt part, but that is our money, so to speak.
That they owe to us. Okay.
Right. So when it's paid to you privately, or however you want to put it, it's bringing down the public debt. That's all I was saying. So you ask them what's their problem with, benefiting the public with bringing down the debt.
Well, basically the best thing to do is just exit out of the system, okay? Get over into the to where you're totally out of the usury system. You're not supposed to even be in the usury system. Okay? That was the fraud that was put upon us to be in the usury system in that postal world. Under that charter, and see, that's what I said last night, that 14th Amendment was nothing more than allowing them to establish these other charter organizations out here. like the reservations for the Indians, like the federal zone areas, okay? All of these different things to basically put people into confines, sort of like the Pilgrims. It's a wonder they haven't turned around and made you wear pilgrim outfits as colonists. But they have in a lot of ways because they control the food supply and they control a lot of other things, and basically they've kept you from gaining the knowledge and the knowledge that you could have broken away as a total non-conformist. They've controlled you by keeping you on the roads, on the highways. They've controlled us by putting all the food supply running around mostly by tractor trailers instead of over the railroads back and forth in a two-lane system, a highway system of going east and going west type scenario. That was on the books back in the 60s under JFK, but then good old Johnson turned around and killed that whole damn thing. And the problem is with most people out here, you've only got a span of understanding of about 6 months. I mean, hell, I talk to people, oh, this is the worst weather ever. Well, shit, I can remember going out there and digging through about 5-6 foot of snow to get out to the barn to milk the cows. We haven't had that much snow here since all the way back in the 60s. But yet we get 4 or 5 inches. Oh, this is a blizzard. Come on, people. Gee. So anyway, back to the subject matter at hand here. You basically take your Federal Reserve bank. You can use those money orders. You can do them online. Now, if the local banks do not comply, read what it says in USC Title 15, Chapter 1, Section 2. One guy brought that up the other night. Last Thursday, I think it was. I don't know how many people went and looked it up, but basically, that you can basically address to them. And if these local banks, that's why they try and close our accounts and get us out of their hair. So you could turn around and file a charge back against them with the Comptroller General. But most people don't know that. The courts the same way. They're preventing you from making the settlement. That was clearly addressed that basically if the courts did not allow you to pay your debt, then you turn to the Secretary of the Treasury. See, the courts were supposed to be able to work through with the Treasury, the Justice Department, to come to the Treasury to borrow, and there was never supposed to be any debtor prisons in this country. And all these damn stinking traffic tickets and everything else, these are all totally fraudulent out here. It's just a money-making situation for the insurance companies and for the court system. But you have to know what you're doing in some of this, and then you have to know, if you do pay it, how to try and get it back. But if you totally get out of the system, then you get a special passport, and basically their stinking laws have no effect on you because they're only for the damn pilgrims, the chartered citizens, non-combatant citizens in their military and religious charter organization, controlled by the bankers and the Church of Rome. 1812, they said they were going to take over this country, and they have. That was what the Treaty of Paris was all about. That one of them. Okay? You guys go ahead and talk. I'm shutting up.
I've been having trouble with the Skype call-in group, and I had to drop some people off the call. And for next week, I'm going to have a different system. A conference call has a different system that I can use where instead of people joining one Skype group here to make a call, they will have a Skype number that they themselves can call from their own computer, and so we won't be going to one computer and having one computer all jammed up. So some people, there was Mike from China and Francesco from Italy. I had a drop off, and a couple people from the U.S. and it gradually cleaned up.
Thomas, will this be a different number for the rest of us who call in otherwise than Skype?
Yes, it will be a different number and different access number. I believe it will end up in 1,200 rather than 1,000. So I'll have to repost that up on the Yahoo group.
Okay. If you want. All right. Thank you.
And there will be a Skype address that you can call instead of calling T. Weidler as you're doing now. It will be a different Skype address. It will be still computer to computer for the people overseas, so that it will work the same, except there will be better quality.
Good deal. Tom.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing, very slowly give the other link address or where the files are located, okay? There's several people that are having problems trying to get into the We the People, so slowly give that other link where those other files are at, okay, please?
Very good. It's not that long. It's concurrent. That's the word concurrent. ECONCURRENT.com/divine, and that's it. econcurrent.com/divine. And when you go there, you will see a calls directory, a dictionary directory, a files directory. You will see a files.zip, where all the files that are out there you can download in one file. You also see calls.zip. They're big. Files.zip is about 1 gigabyte. Calls.zip, with about 70 calls in it, there's 2 gigabytes. But that way you don't have to download a file at a time. You can download them all at once.
Thanks, Tom, for your good work. This is Nancy. I have a question for you, Tom. When you went today with your passport and your other document, the American Executive, I don't have it memorized, but the money order.
I didn't go with the other document. I simply went to the post office and presented the passport, and they wouldn't accept it. They wouldn't accept it for identity, because they said it was expired. They wouldn't accept it for value because they didn't have any idea what that meant. And I think Patrick addressed that. So we were getting all kinds of we were getting all kinds of breakup here on the Skype group. So I'm going to have to go back and listen to what Patrick said. They told I cited 17 Stat 335 to them. They're saying, "Oh, we don't go by those old laws. We only go by the current DMM, the domestic mail manual." And if you could look at that, there's it's 1,500 pages. Just Google DMM Domestic Mail Manual. You can download the whole thing. There's actually only about 10 pages that deal with money orders, and it has none of the stuff in there that's in the 1872 law. None of the stuff about honoring a money order coming from another postmaster. Nothing about accepting money orders at all. They only accept right now cash, traveler's checks of certain amounts, and debit cards, not credit cards.
Well, I appreciate the historical leap to 1966 and where they took the postal savings account and shut it all down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing to me to hear that and learn that today. It's astounding information.
Yeah,
and I appreciate it.
Patrick found that out all on his own. I haven't gotten the chance to tell him what I did at the post office.
Wow. Tom, can you hear me?
Sure.
All right, this is Marshall. I went to the local post office today, and I tried the passport at first. She didn't recognize it, so I asked her then if I brought a money order back in, if she would take a look at that, and she did say, they would take a credit card, because what I was trying to establish was just paying for a business post office box.
Okay.
And only $24. So I made out a postal money order for the $24, made it out to her, brought it into her. She looked at it. She didn't think it was anything that she could do anything with, but she was willing to forward it on. And I says, do that. Here's my number. Let me know what happens. She was just going to make a copy. And I says, no, keep it. Because I had it already posted and stamped, sealed, signed, and all she has to do is fill in the back.
Right, and that's what I could do. I could fill out one of our money orders and take it down to them and tell them to submit it.
Yeah, I only submitted it for $24. So if you don't want to honor it, then I want to talk to them or somebody higher up why they can't do it.
Right.
And like Patrick was saying, the safety deposit boxes are not safe, because when I took the documents into the local bank when we were, a couple weeks ago, that it was so hot that they couldn't touch it, that they forced me to sign a document to put it in a safety deposit box. I had to watch them put it in a box, but yet 3 days later, they pull it out of the box without calling me or contacting me or having me come in and mail it back to me. So like Patrick says, I'm going to the comp controller, and then when I see where the post office goes with this money order, I may then talk to the postmaster or the postal inspector or whoever I can get a hold of when they say they won't honor that document. Then hopefully we'll get some more questions answered. But I'm trying to do it a step at a time.
Yes.
And if everybody's out there doing it, Patrick's doing it, I've done it, if other people are doing it throughout the country and asking the same questions, hopefully we're going to push the doors open.
And what's interesting is we can ask the same questions and we'll get slightly different answers, and when we take all the slightly different answers, it'll give us a variety of clues of what to do next.
Correct. If we don't keep pushing them in honor and keep pushing them non-combative, we're not conforming to their system. If we don't keep pushing, it won't change. And on top of that, the bank was so scared that they closed my accounts. Well, if they go in a safety deposit box, that they keep the keys there, and they send it back without me being there when they open the box, how secure do you really think you want to deal with that bank?
Right.
I don't want to have any part of their system. It's ridiculous. Like Patrick says, they're using us. We need to wake up.
Yeah, we're fodder.
Worse than that. They just throw us around like shit.
Yep.
Sorry. Excuse my French.
So the woman that was... Go ahead.
If anyone out there has gone back to the bank and redone their signature card, could they share what kind of how they did it, how they maybe put in there something that said that the banks will do it by their instructions, something like that. How do you put that on the signature, or how would you change? How would you? Because I don't think they can really stop. I mean, you know, that's going to be very telling if they let you change your signature card or not. What kind of?
What were you trying to put on the signature card?
That they would be following your instructions, because as I understand it, that they would be that they would need to follow your instructions. That, you know, so because I had a friend who actually was paying like a utility bill with a postal money order, and the bank said they wouldn't do it. Now, how can they do that? But she said, because she put it in a letter, and she wrote to them, she said, well, that was not my instructions. And so because she had that letter with her instructions, they went ahead and finally did it. But she had to push them. Can you imagine? So I'm thinking with these banking changes coming in, basically when you deposit into a bank, it's their money. I mean, that's what it says. But if the banks have a run or something, they can just keep everybody's money, and then, you know, you'd be a creditor in their bankruptcy, but you'd be a low creditor, so you'd get pennies on the dollar for your.
That's right. That's the whole bail-in process, where they're going.
Yeah. So what you want to do is have some kind of control over that, deal with that, is to change your signature card. That they'll do it by your instructions. They will follow your instructions, basically. But I don't know. I've never heard of anybody really doing it. How they did it, but you have to change the signature card. So you'd have to go there and probably deal with the vice president.
Well,
I just wonder, has anybody ever changed their signature card?
Yes, I was in a small bank in Nebraska when I was there, and it was actually a rather friendly bank. And I went in there to change the checking account to a non-interest-bearing checking account. And also I wanted to add, as Patrick said to do, saying I waived the FDI insurance and wanted no part of it. They simply would not let me add that to the card. They tore up the card and made me sign a new one.
Okay, so maybe that's what needs to be done in order to have some control over how they treat they treat you.
The question, I've done that before. Deposit your signature at the bank. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But what I really meant was, you know, when you first sign up for a bank, for an account, you sign something, and we've all done it wrong. We give them an unqualified signature, so we want to change the original signature.
Here's what I did. It's real easy. You go into your bank and tell them you want to renegotiate your signature or look at your signature card because you want to change it. Obviously, they have to get you the card and bring it to you. You look at it, and you say, okay. Then you want to renegotiate it, and he will rip it in two, or you could rip it, renegotiate, and then you put, after your signature, I believe that's on the card is all caps and everything. You put that down to sign, but what you do put on the signature, after that, I put pursuant to U.S. Code 12, subsection 411, please deposit this transaction for all lawful money of account. And then you sign your name and so forth and give it back to them, because you have your name, you sign in your name with that statement on there. So that statement will take you out of the loop for lawful money for transactions. So you dealing in lawful money. You're not dealing in interest money, check, that kind of, where they can hypothecate it. But that's a very good way. They will let you do it if you just tell them, because it's your signature.
That's a very good first step, but maybe we need to add more.
Well, you could. This is my starter, but
do into your instructions, and so that way they can't confiscate your account.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay. There's a couple other angles you may want to look at. One of them is that if you, as the patent holder on your own signature, feel that there's a reason for you to revoke it, they can't question that. Second is that because of the New World currency coming about, and that we're going to hold back, is you have a right and from the debt contract that was already established when you signed it. The other one is that there's a lack of disclosures that you've identified, is that wasn't out the signature for lack of disclosure.
Let's get the phone cleaned up.
Yes. Someone is in the background talking very loudly, and someone else by that same place is breathing loudly into the microphone. Please mute yourself out. Okay, sounds like they did.
Golly.
She laughed about that.
Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry.
Mute out if you're not talking, man. It's getting too loud.
Okay, Chris. Can you proceed?
Yeah. When I did studies with the international contracts and international signatures, I found a patent is associated to your signature. Any signature that you sign solely belongs to you. It actually is your authorization as to the avenue of your will of which direction you wish to choose. That means that if you have identified that your signature was signed on a bank card prior to
Hey, Zodi, this is Tom. I'm in B1213. How you doing today?
What's this about B1213? What's this about B1213?
Yeah.
Please mute yourself out.
And they
I'll be back in a minute, Tom. You guys go ahead.
Yeah, I think we have some unruly callers here, and I'm.
Yeah. No, I've got to take some. I've got to take care of something outside. I'll be back.
Okay. If you're not speaking, can you please mute yourself out with *6, or if you're on our Skype call, find some other way to keep your mic clear of background noise.
Hey, hello, Tom.
Yes.
I went to a bank, and I'm not gonna say the name of the bank because that might not be good. But yeah, I went in there and changed my signature card. I'm sorry, this is Marville Libram X.
Yeah.
And I noticed when you signed it, if you use a magnifying glass on there, it says authorized signature.
Sure.
Okay. So I changed mine, and I told them about the 411. And the lady in there didn't even know that was written right there on the signature line, authorized signature. Right? I mean, it's so small you have to use a magnifying glass to see it. So at the end of the name, I put my name in it, and I said authorized rep. And she was like, well, what's this all about? And I said, well, I'm the only one that can authorize the signature on your documents. And they took my papers. They took them in there. And I even talked to the bank manager and somebody in the headquarters, and I told them some things. And about a week later, they asked me to come in there and change my signature card again. And I went, well, why would I do that? I said, you can't really copyright my name, because I put it in a box and I put down UCC1/308, but not on the signature card. Like anytime I cash a check or something, I write that in it. And next thing I know, they sent me a letter and closed my account and sent 2 sheriffs to me. And I was like, well, what is this all about? They said, well, we want you to sign this. I said, I'm not signing that. He said, well, we're returning your money back to you. I'm like, what? I said, you mean you guys are forcefully closing my account? I said, on one authority. And they couldn't even answer that question. So I said back, I said, okay, I'll take the letter and everything else. And soon I figure out how to, come back at you for doing this, I'm going to nail you for it. So I kept all the information for them doing that.
Okay, I'm back. Anytime you guys want
to
continue.
So that was just one of my experiences dealing with a bank. I just wanted you to know about it, because you can go in there and change your signature card, to state who you are and what you are, and to keep them from stealing from you. So I guess by me doing whatever I did, they kind of figured that they couldn't really do anything with me, so they decided to close my account, period.
Yep.
That's all I wanted to say.
No, you're right about that. When they closed the account, they realized that there was a fluke that was announced, and that the best thing for all parties was them to, instead of accruing any liabilities, is to go ahead and close the account.
Yeah, they even had some lawyer to sit back and say something. And I'm like, who are you? You're an esquire. You really can't talk to me. So he sent the letter, and I sent a letter to him. And his first letter was threatening. So, but when I sent my next letter to him, he was apologetic about it being, and if I knew anything about your subscribed oath, I would have just told him. I said, you need to give me a performance bond. Give me a number. I already have your name.
I'm trying.
You need to give me a subscribed oath, because from right now, you work for the District of Columbia. You're not even supposed to be over here. You need to go back home. So the guy, obviously, he must have knew what I was talking about, and he hurried up and got off the phone. And he didn't send me nothing else, no more. I told him, I said, I got your name, so soon I figure out how to file a claim against you, I will. Because that's what I've been trying to figure out, is how to put a claim against these guys. Because a lot of them, they playing dumb, but a lot of them do know what's going on. Even when I called the United States Treasury, I said some things to them. And they told me, well, that you committed fraud. I said, well, can you prove that? Here's my address. Here's my phone number. Can you verify a letter with your signature on it and send it to me?
Yep.
Haven't heard a word from them.
Yep. I
said, because this is why, I'm right here. You can come find me anytime. You can call me up anytime. Here's my email address. That I'm not hiding from you. And then with the Federal Reserve, I sent them some papers with my Social Security number and the back of the number, and I told them I will use this account any means that I could do, because I know this belongs to me, and I don't want you guys using it. So I wound up getting a lot of debt paid off that way, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't go through all the rest of the stuff everybody else was talking about. I didn't do that. The only thing I did was gave them the number with the dashes. I told them it's from Levy, and from the living man, which I told them the living man, my will, and I put all the numbers together, and then I turned it over. I found out I live in Illinois, I found out my bank is in Richmond, New York. And I gave them the address. I said, you settle this from there. And they did. And I sent them a 1099-0. And that's how I took care of my debt.
But I think the key here, if you put your good name and your signature on a document and there was no full disclosures,
well, now Chris is
international law. Hey, can the person mute out that's talking in the background?
Yes, there's a couple of women talking in the background.
Jesus, what's your problem? I mean, if you want to
talk, it's very loud. You have some consideration. If you don't want to listen to the call, hang up.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, really. The whole idea of international signature patents is that it solely belongs to you, and because of your own will, you have the discretions as to remove it anytime you deem fit. So whatever you come up with your paperwork actually would be suffice as to removing your signature, and that also removes the liability. The way that you went about doing it put them on notice that you were alarmed that something had occurred that was out of your scope of consideration of acceptance. Therefore, the consent that you lend your name with the underwriting of any contract was withdrawn, and they realized that it was going to end up becoming a liability, and that's the reason why they closed that account.
Okay.
It's the end of liability because you hit a nerve with them that there was a lack of disclosure, or that it was a breach of contract, or that they were taking advantage of you. Whatever it was, is that you never gave consent for that to be that way.
That's right. That's right. Because when I opened the account, I even gave them the papers before that, and they didn't have a problem with it until I went in there and did what I did. But with the Federal Reserve and with the United States Treasury, like I said, I sent some things to them, and the next letters that I'm gonna send to them, I'm gonna handwrite all of this stuff, because from what I learned from Patrick, if we handwrite stuff, you are the creator. So if you use a dead instrument like computers and whatnot, I guess you can use it, but you have to put like your initials on it. But if you handwrite it, that is your will, because you're the only one that can create law. And this is what I learned from Patrick. So I said a lot of these papers I'm gonna redo them, and I'm gonna handwrite them, and I'm gonna send them in.
Excuse us. Hey, Santo's phone is shorting out. I can see it flashing on the screen. Santos, your phone's scratching.
Oh, there you go. So basically, the way that Patrick was sharing with everybody some of the findings, I went ahead and found out that anytime that you have not been disclosed a certain item and they've got securities or insurance out on something, you have every right as to pull out the consent for that underwriting. Their failure as to honor you with your signature as a patent becomes a liability on their behalf, and is reportable as what Patrick is saying with the comptroller, and also because it's a security and it is considered backed by the FDIC and or some other insurance company. You've got three parties that need to be notified that these people had failed to honor you with your consent. Therefore, they are committing securities fraud, insurance fraud, and money laundering fraud. And with that being said, they're going to get their tit in a ringer, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as you understand the power of your signature and the revocation of that signature, you no longer underwrite anything that's deceptive and or fraudulent, and that's the final word. There is nothing that has to be adjudicated in a court. So what Patrick has been trying to share with everybody is you've got this understanding or this undertaking that as soon as you put your foot down, there's nothing else that corporation has to do other than to follow your instructions.
Okay, that sounds great. I really like that. So could you mention the three places to send them to? Because I know one has to deal with the church. The other one is like
no.
Okay.
In this country, you've got three generals.
Okay.
You've got the U.S. Comptroller General, you've got the U.S. Attorney General,
Okay.
And you got the U.S. Postmaster General, and then you have also per USC Title 15 USC Chapter 1 Section 2, which is monopolizing trade, a felony penalty. Okay, that's what that's about. Monopolizing trade, a felony penalty.
Thanks, Patrick.
For a corporation, the penalty is a fine up to $100 million for a corporation. For a person, it's up to $1 million, or by imprisonment not to exceed 10 years, or by both said punishments in the discretion of the court. Now, there's a fourth place, and this is covered under this title, and that is the Antitrust Modernization Commission. There are 12 commissioners on that commission. You can file your complaint in with them about these banks and everything else. They're out here in violation of what is really supposed to be taking place in this country.
So actually,
but you really, I wish you people would understand, you do not want to deal with these damn commercial banks.
Exactly.
You are, basically, if you're a Christian, you are not to be operating with usury.
You're absolutely right.
Quit out being a Christian and go become a Muslim, okay? At least they know well enough not to use usury.
Right. So that's supposed to be a sin. You're right. You're right. Because the only thing I want to do is just get out of this junk and quit dealing with these people, because they don't.
The only way you can do that is to get out of the charter organization. Stop being a pilgrim out here and become a non-conformist. Get outside their little territory, their federal zone, and you bury your shit in the backyard.
Right. Right. That's what, hey, Patrick, that's what I've been trying to do. And that's why I said I'm gonna send these letters off to them. I'm gonna handwrite them. I am the executive.
Well, no, you basically go and read that letter that I put up there. You have to crucify your document, and you send those off to the Postmaster General. You assign him to be your executor over your estate or over your citizenship, and you terminate it.
Oh, okay.
Just like Moses, just like
I have,
Daniel, just like Jesus in the Bible.
Okay. And once
Get out of their system. You're over the age of 25.
Yes.
Act like you're over the age of 25.
Yes. Yes. And once all that is terminated, then I just go back and get these guys in order. Because I'm not asking you anything. I'm putting in a demand.
Well, you don't have to go into court with them. Basically, when you get your money, just get on with your life, okay?
Hey.
These guys go away when we start taking all the money away from them.
Yeah.
So the more people you wake up, the more money will come out of their hands, and basically all of a sudden they'll just dry up. The blood bank supply for the vampires will no longer be there.
Well,
how many movies have been talking about that out here recently?
Right, right. Well, Patrick, when I did call in the Internal Revenue Service, I told them, I said, I'm here to help you. And
no, you're not there to help those guys. Don't
help
those guys.
I was telling them to I'm here to, to help off this national debt. I said, I realize nothing belongs to me. And
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
If it don't belong to you, who the hell does it belong to?
Well, I can't take it with me when I die.
That's when you die.
I mean,
okay? That's when you die. Okay? Yeah. But you're alive right now.
Oh, well, maybe I might have said it wrong. I might have said it wrong to you. It wasn't like that, okay? But maybe I might have said it wrong to you. But this guy, he knew what I was talking about. I said, look, I need a few things. I want to take care of this. I want to help pay off the national debt, because the only reason why we're actually in trouble because we've been ignorant.
No, because we haven't come in and claimed our debt. We haven't taken it away from them and forced them to shut the thing down.
Right. Because we're responsible for that. You know, that's why all this stuff is happening to us. Because
we need to be able to ask Patrick some questions besides, just having a one-way conversation here. We got to ask Patrick some questions. When you say crucify your documents, do you say you give that to the Secretary of the State or the Postmaster? I mean,
you go to the Postmaster General.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He don't understand what part of the crew of his ship, committed mutiny. So he wouldn't understand crucify. He don't understand that.
Yeah, and see, basically it's all under fraud anyway. So basically, most all of this goes totally away. It's all fiction. So until you get in and you crucify the documents and send them to the Postmaster General and make him the executor over the account, you're the crucifier, okay? You're the king or whatever, sitting up in the balcony there in the castle. And basically, you're making the postmaster send one of his guys down there to swing the axe to cut the head off of this damn snake. That's what needs to be done, okay?
Right.
And basically, just like on the Mount Calvary, you had 3 crosses. You had the main cross. You had on the one side, you had the good thief, and then you had the bad thief. The good thief was going to remain with you in heaven. The bad thief is not going to be there. That's the Social Security account. The good thief is basically what took it away from you and set you up in a charter organization that you're going to terminate him and resurrect him over in the post-world side of the system as a non-conformist. Read the letter that I posted up there. It's just a one-page document. And if you can't understand that, then ask the questions. But try and understand it. It's all about, it goes all the way back to the Pilgrims. And when you can see one of those old movies about the Pilgrims, that they ran around, that there were several of them running around with guns, that was the military side of that charter organization, East India Charter or whatever. Then you had all the other nitwits out there, the men and the women, running around in their little fancy dresses and their little hats and their coats, sort of like the Amishmen. Go and look at some of the Amish out here. They all look the same. That's what this is. And basically they put you sort of like in a plantation, a federal zone, under this charter organization.
What letter are you referring to?
You are not born to be a clone of anybody. You were born as a non-conformist. You didn't conform to anybody else in that hospital. So stop conforming and thinking you need to go to a damn fucking commercial bank and have your fucking money there. Bury it in the fucking backyard.
They need to go back and read the book of Job. Because Job
That's
had
a good one to read, yes.
And it was Satan that made a deal that if we remove your hedge, he'll make you deny him. Remember, Job means job, J-O-B. And everybody's treated like Job, especially if you lose your job, you're going to fall out with your woman. They did a job on it.
So where's your letter at, Pat? Is that's not the American counter affidavit that you put
I don't know.
into
Ask
the
Tom
board?
where he put it.
Yeah, which letter is that something new? I'm at the files right now.
I think that's a term service letter you're talking about, right, Patrick? The one you just did recently?
The one I gave to you yesterday afternoon, you were going to put it up in a document or whatever.
Right. Terminate, yes. I put it up in the PDF. Norge retyped it. And
that's Rev 1.
Email, yes.
Okay, good. Because when you talk about a letter, it's good to know which one you're talking about.
I entitled it "Terminate Your Military Service."
Terminate your military and religious service as a non-combatant.
Yes.
See, you're under the military and religious. See, they both came into play here under this charter organization. And they first they made you a non-combatant, then they put you in the military if you got drafted or whatever, and then you came out of the military and you went right back into the non-combatant, but you're still working on the base. You haven't ever left the base. And you were supposed to leave the base when you turned 25. But you're living on their base of control.
Yep.
That's why I tried to explain this whole process about my coming out of the service. When I came out of the service, I told the old man I quit. Pissed him off that basically there wasn't a damn thing he could do because I was over the age of 25. I really didn't know what I was doing to know that I was over 25. I just didn't want to go any further. I said, I'm through playing kids' games. And that's all that this damn military is. Everybody thinks you're out there going to play cowboys and Indians. I mean, they've got all the damn kids out there playing these damn games now of shooting them up. And then all these dumb kids got to run around, think they got to have a damn gun in the car with them. I mean, basically, most of these people ought to just be taken out and shot right now. I mean, if they're that damn dumb to do something like that, I mean, they're never going to learn anything. And that's leaving the way some of these people on here, you keep arguing the same damn shit over and over again. Try something new. That's what I've been trying to do, is constantly going this whole thing. But the whole thing is I've had almost everything right all along. It was just the account number that we were missing. And it was all set up back in 1872 under the Postal Savings System. That's when really they started this citizenship.
Yep.
Yeah, and we didn't see that was the passport number that they were giving to us. They've given us our remedy out here. That so many people out here have to try and constantly go to their damn UCCs and basically try and play their damn game of using trademarks and all this other garbage out here. You're supposed to be a non-conformist. Don't fucking conform to them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you want to, it's like, basically I did my affidavit, okay? If I'm a non-conformist, I ain't fucking going to use a damn notary public. because using a notary public means I'm conforming to their fucking shit. So I use my two witnesses, my right and left index fingers. That is my markers of my domain. Now let them chew on that. See, we were given the Declaration of Independence. That meant that we were non-conformist. We did not conform to the rest of the world. That's what pissed off all the monarchs and the church over in Europe, was because everybody over here in America all of a sudden became non-conformist. They didn't conform to what was going on in Europe. They didn't like that shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
want people that they can control.
We're punks.
Well, you don't know the power of the pen. If you're going to have your independence, you got to declare it with the pen. That's your declaration of independence. Pen is mightier than the sword. Stop using guns. Just take a piece of paper and put them in jail.
So all we have to do is basically go in and terminate this damn thing and shut it down, and basically you crucify your contracts. You veto any bill. You are the executor, the American executor over the government. When you turned 25, you became a we the people executor over the government, because it starts off the Constitution. We the people established this fucking shit. It wasn't the fucking government that established the people.
They understand. They need to understand that they have a license to kill once they get to the 7. 2 and 5 is 7. That's why James have a bond and a license to kill. That's why you're gonna crucify somebody. You're gonna kill it right there. You're gonna be the executioner.
Yeah.
I want a bond like James.
Does the crucifix have to be over the whole entire document?
I would put a red mark from top to bottom and from right to left, sort of like a cross.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
You see, when you understand accounting, you remember, account deals with Draculas. All those counts and dukes and those stuff over in England, they're called counts. Why? Because they're a bunch of Draculas. Draculas are a bunch of bloodsuckers. That's why everything's done down at the county. Where accounts are held up there. Those bloodsuckers are called politics. Poly means a group of. A tick is a bunch of bloodsuckers. They're stealing your energy, basically, what Pat is saying.
Yeah, see, you go all the way back to the Bible and basically find out about the Church of Rome over there running around in their damn little skirts and everything, and basically their fish hats and everything else. It goes all the way back to the Assyrians and all the way back to the first Babylon as basically the merchants of law. Merchant law. Okay? Deceiver's law really is what it is. So that's what the Church of Rome is all about. They're the deceivers of law. All their damn fucking canons of law and everything else, basically a piece of shit.
That's right. And canons means guns. Guns means ordinances. And this is why all your preachers and your deacons and all your religious stuff is called ordinance, because it goes back to the word ordained. It's fair you with the law of God.
Yeah, they're just shooting shit out of their mouth. Cannons.
Right.
They're shooting their cannons off, but they're full of shit.
Well, darn, I'll be a son done.
Okay, I'm going to back down here. You guys go ahead.
Usually the comedy hour on this conference call.
Well, no, you got to laugh at this stuff. It ain't funny, but it's kind of laughable. In about another year or so, you're going to think about the stuff that Pat's been telling you guys.
Yeah, but like we said,
now.
we have to learn how to divorce ourselves. You have to cancel everything and, you express your will to do that.
That's right.
Call it a fraud or whatever you want to do, but it's all foreign, and it's counterfeit, it's usury. I mean, we have to look at everything he says in all his documents and say it all together.
Right. Divorce and invoice are almost one and the same. The reason a divorce is so expensive because it's worth it.
What?
Annul it or whatever you have to do.
I said the reason a divorce is so expensive because it's worth it.
Okay, I got you.
You were
That's
way
why
off.
some of us never been married.
The divorce was only supposed to give back to the wife her dowry. That's what a true divorce was all about. Anything that was accrued during the marriage really belongs to the husband or the master of the marriage. That's what people don't understand. Even the children belong to the husband. If the wife wants to divorce, let her divorce. Let her go away. You can find a new wife to take care of the children. Okay? But the divorce, basically, in the Old Testament and everything else, read the law that basically is in the Hebrews, okay? The Mosaic law. And this goes all the way back to Adam and Eve, this law out here. And see, people don't understand this law, and they try to modernize it with all this modern Church of Rome and basically the bankers and everything else, because they all wanted their share of the pie. So they got all this other garbage law involved, rather than sticking with the Mosaic law that is out there in the Old Testament. And then a lot of people on this call even keep going, and they want to operate with the damn new shit.
So much for the New Testament.
Like I told the bankruptcy court one time, I said, do you know where the damn laws for your bankruptcy court come from? I said, they come all right out of the book of Leviticus. And that shut them up. Because that's where they come from. Now, all the other garbage comes from the damn bankers and the lawyers trying to get their piece of the pie. I'll be glad when this damn purge comes and basically 99% of people get wiped off the face of the earth because they're fucking blooming idiots. Every time this reaches a peak in this type of scenario, it's not shortly thereafter that basically the society that is out here gets wiped out.
Yeah, I know.
There we go.
And I think the time frame has shortened down to where you've got less than a year to get your ass out of this system and get prepared to basically find what you need to do to protect yourself, and it's going to have to be underground, and it's going to have to be in a protected area that you may not even realize that is where you want to be.
Correct.
But if you stay in these major cities, I've told people for years, just look at the beltways that are built around these major cities. Everybody said, well, they were to help people get from one side of town to the other. How ludicrous is that? If you want to get from one side to the other, you build a skyway over the damn town and drive like hell.
Cost them about the same. They can do it.
Yeah, but to build a beltway around, basically, that is just like a prison fence. And then some of them have double fences, beltways around the city. And they can lock you down in that city very easily and turn that into a prison. Just like, what was it, that one, the deal about New York there.
Yeah, Prison of New York, right.
Yeah.
Pat, when I was doing research on the State Bar Act in California, it led me to the other end of it all, of what the investment for the Bar Association is, and you will not believe it. It's Agenda 21, full blown. They have you can go right on the internet and get it. They are absolutely supporting 100% all the funding to a communist agenda right here in California.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what this whole thing was all set up back in under Woodrow Wilson. When you read what House said to Wilson, it was all a communist agenda. And then when you go and see who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance, that was a communist agenda. That whole Pledge of Allegiance to get you to basically separate you from your nationality, of swearing a false oath or a false pledge to a charter flag, a 1817 chartered organization flag. That's a foreign charter at that.
And it's amazing how when they reckon your creation, during recreation time, you know, we doing sport and play these baseball, football anthems, they sing that same Pledge of Allegiance at there.
Yeah. And everybody thinks that that's their damn flag. I've got my flag all over my documents that I sent into this Postmaster General. My flag is that damn snake that says, don't fuck up with me.
Oh, dear.
Now, you don't tread on me. I'll tread on you.
Hey, Pat, what we should do is we should make the post office print up a whole bunch of stamps that says that. No, don't tread on me, and put the snake in the middle of the stamp.
All you gotta do is print them out.
You can probably make up your own stamps.
How do you get your own stamp made up?
Print thing up.
Patrick, how did you say you can do that?
I said, basically, if we're a Postmaster General or Postmaster, we ought to be able to make up our own stamps. Don't do it, though, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Social Security card is prepaid.
Yeah, because they're not going to take our stamps into their system. That's the thing.
Well, I made up some stamps,
yeah, but our
and they took
our vessels, and we can put them on the back, on the bottom of our vessels with our signature.
Hey, Pat, I made some stamps and they took them. I put on there prepaid. and I used the back of the Social Security card, and I put it on a, what was that, an 8106, and put up there prepaid, and put the number on the back, took off the letter, and added a 0 in front of it. And they didn't even, I mailed off a whole lot of letters like that. And I said, it don't make sense to buy stamps when this works.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what I did.
Okay.
Okay, and it works. And it works.
Yeah, hell, they use those damn prepaid things all over the place.
Yeah, and it works. And every last one of you, you got a Social Security number, just use the number on the back of your card, say prepaid. And mail it off if you're scared. Mail off some tests and watch and see what happens.
Okay.
Yep. Want me to send you an example? I'll send you an example.
Yeah, send it to Tom or something then. Or
okay.
Send it to the Skype group, post it there. Yeah.
Yeah, just leave them. I'm
not on the internet right now.
Okay, I'll send it to you. That way everybody in the and if you want an explanation, I got it strictly from the UPU.
Okay. Yes, either put it on one of the Skype groups or email it to me at tweidler@yahoo.com.
Not a problem. Sign in on. Come on, I didn't want y'all to be quiet. Go right ahead, y'all.
Okay, so who wants to have a new car?
I can use one.
Yeah, I can use one.
Okay, go do a money order, send it to the Treasury, and basically make them send the check down to, you address them to send a check to the car dealership for that vehicle.
Okay.
Wait a minute, but you can't write the money over $1,000, can you?
What?
What's the most amount you write on the money order?
Yeah, no. See, you write a money order. You write a money order out, and they're going to have to take it to the local bank.
All right, but what amount do you put on the money order, though?
Oh, you go and get the window sticker.
I thought a money order can't be over $1,000.
No, that is a postal money order.
Gotcha.
Yours is not a postal. Yours is a post office money order. Big difference. Post office is the big motherfucker. Those postals, they're down the ground. They can only top up about 1/10 of value.
Didn't know that one.
Yeah. And see, the post office can only issue out $10,000 in postal money orders. So basically, they're under the same regulations that the bankers are out there, but they can only issue out $10,000 out of your account before they have to report it to the IRS. So when you get out of the system, you're not going to be under the damn stinking IRS, because most of the IRS out there is really working for the Church of Rome and the damn English Bar Association, collecting fees for them for their Federal Reserve banks that are over here ripping the people off to pay their tariff taxes for them. None of that income tax goes to the country. See, that's a lot of the fallacy. You're just handing over. You're voluntarily paying their taxes for them.
Seems like they just make them up as they go.
Yeah, and then they put all these fraudulent $300 penalty envelopes out here, and these $5,000 penalties, and all this other garbage out here. All fraud. It's all for the corporation.
How do you make the post office money order?
It's on the group site there.
Oh, okay. Because you got you do a money order, and you just have to specify post office.
There's examples up on the website.
Okay,
that guy
great.
needs to
Thank you.
start reading. You need to start reading.
Yeah, you need to look at the files, Don.
Yes, I'm going to, since you already gave that place out where you can get it, because I have problems. I'm not a computer whiz, so it's hard for me to gather this stuff up and make sense of it. Now I can be able to get to it in one place and then start printing them out.
You don't have to be a whiz. It's very elementary stuff that almost any secretary or clerical person knows.
Yeah, I realize I don't have, but I'm following what he's saying, and so that I can go get it, and then I can.
But it's obvious from your previous questions that you aren't familiar with the documents that are out there.
I'm not. I don't have the documents, but I have the tapes and all this other stuff. And Patrick's making perfect sense.
Audios aren't going to cut it. You got to look at the documents in detail over and over again.
Good. I think I'll get it here. Thank you.
Yep. That's almost like an apple spell. Where postal, apple spell, apostle, apostille are almost the same word. You ain't got to come back through the post office.
Yeah.
If you're traveling with one of those, they ain't supposed to stop you. Shouldn't. Yep.
Maybe I shouldn't mention this, but has anybody heard of tax per coup?
Of what?
Tax per coup. If you go on YouTube and put in T-A-X-E per coup, P-E-R-C-U-E. It's already been up there a year, and they've only done part 1, and they're really not coming back with part 2 where they promise you all this other stuff. But
I've heard the term, but I don't remember what it is.
What?
I've heard the term, but I don't remember what it is.
It's prepaid mail. You're using the prepaid mail system, which falls right in line with what we're doing on the private side here. So it would be a very consistent picture to be utilizing that. And you don't use a stamp; you just put the international mail code. The trick is you can't do this over the counter, retail counter. You basically have to put it in the drop box after hours. So, and then they're supposed to do it. And then if you just watch that YouTube, it'll show you some things.
Spell it slowly, please.
What?
Can you spell it slowly?
Yeah, it's tax, and the second word is P-E-R-C-U-E.
Yeah, it's tax with an E and P-E-R-C-U-E.
P-E-R-C-U-E or Q, okay.
Q-E, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think I've seen that before. Oh, man.
Is that tax? Did she spell that T-A-X or T-E-X?
T-A-X-E.
Oh, T-A-X-E. P-E-R-C?
U-E.
U-E. I got it. .org?
No, just Google it.
Oh, Google.
Google for a video.
Or put it on YouTube.
Oh, put the same, type that in at YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. You gotta get out of your log cabin once in a while.
Okay. Google or YouTube. I'll find it. Thank you.
Hey, we all love you, brother.
They have a search bar near the top at YouTube.
Well, something's really building up there.
Wow.
I'm going to go ahead and sign off, Tom. You guys are on your own.
Okay, thank you,
I'll
Patrick.
keep you posted on what comes down. Okay.
Okay.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
And I'll work away on it. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
Didn't somebody go to the post office today with that money, the money order stuff?
I went with the passport and didn't get anywhere.
What did they say?
They said they only take cash, traveler's checks, and debit cards.
Did they? Strange.
Well, and what Patrick said at the beginning of the call backs that up. I didn't even get a chance to tell him what happened, and he already announced that he had figured out that business to process passports was taken away from the postmasters. What, in the 60s? Is that when he said? So I'm going to have to listen to the beginning of the call because with the Skype call group here, it got all messed up with so many people on that all the calls are funneling to my computer and it just bogged it down. So I'm going to have to come up with another method of calling in for everybody. Well, it'll probably be the same number except 1,200 instead of 1,000. And a different access code, and I'll sort it out and test it out during the week.
I couldn't get that tax-free keyword. Wait a minute. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong.
Hey, Tom, can I say something real quick here?
Sure.
Okay. For everybody that may have an interest in a different perspective, I do a lot of studies and whatnot, research, and I actually at this point believe that the new system is kicking in. The stuff that we're doing probably would have worked, and I do believe that there is a shifting of the guard, if you may, that they're going to the new system, which would necessarily mean that what we have discovered and stumbled upon just recently will probably not work.
By new system, what do you mean? The total currency?
The world-backed gold currency, replacing the Federal Reserve notes, replacing the debt laws.
Well, that's what the cabal wants. It wants a world currency.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Neil Keenan is working seriously to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
We sort of discussed this. What Neil Keenan has, it's very likely what it will do is it will legitimate what Patrick has done.
Well, like I said, you're between speed bumps here,
yeah,
and
right.
everything that they had going on up to this point, with what information we've got, would have worked. Now, what's going to transpire and happen after that? Yes, you may still be able to do this stuff, but right now there's kind of like a holding pattern, if you will, that.
And that's what they tend to do. Once we figure it out, they change it.
Yes, well, that's true too. In fact, it didn't surprise me that they were that quick as to give notification through their systems as to what we're up to. They're probably on the calls, by the way, just for your info.
And they're probably the ones with the open mic line screwing up the calls.
Yeah, especially the annoying Mexicans with their babbling in the background.
Yeah, that sounded to me like it was someone had a voicemail menu leaking into it.
Hey, Thomas, I got on late. It's Gita.
Hi, Gita.
I must have missed a lot. I'll have to listen to the recording later.
Yes, so will I, because I...
Anybody has any questions on what I did? It's kind of like, you guys got it?
So, Chris, do you have more to add?
Sorry. Different day, yeah. No, I mean, you know, once you get your routing number.
Someone with the background noise.
That's because I'm walking the dog, and if I get cut off, it's because it's, you know, where I am. But I just did the same thing. I did, you know, my passport number is my account, and then I found my routing number with the G letter, and I hooked that up into my credit card to pay online, and that's all you have to do. Just figure out what your routing number is. Go through the you know, the different ones, and one of them will click for you. And just do it online for simple things, credit cards, loans, whatever. Okay? Because I paid off my daughter's tuition. I paid $30,000, and I found out today they got it. And then I put another $20,000 towards her tuition, and they got it. And so what they're going to do is I overpaid them. I did that purposely. And I said, listen, I think I overpaid you. Can we roll it over for next semester, next term? And she goes, sure. And I said, can you give my daughter, can you direct deposit some money for her for spending and buying books? And they said, sure. So they're going to give her money so she can buy all her books and everything. Direct deposit into her account, her debit account. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I was planning that for my
really
grand.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm so, God, you don't know. I have so many gray hair because I was trying to figure out how to pay for her college. And this is godsend, yeah. So I'm just telling you guys, figure it out, do your detective work, plug in, start off slow, and once you get the hang of it, you'll kind of like know what to do. But the numbers are there for us. It's ours. Connect. Tom, this is a different process than Patrick was saying for getting a car, isn't it? No, because
yes, it's different than the one that he had before of doing the window sticker.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think the account number and the routing number. Once you figure out what's yours because it's your account, you can go get a car. Just give them. Listen, I don't have my checkbook. I'm giving you my routing number and my account.
Yes, but you did it because you got yourself a Tesla car, and they have a way of ordering and paying for that online with the ACH system, where you give them the route.
I didn't get it. I just ordered it with the down payment, $2,500. So far, so good.
I thought you were going to go back and pay it off.
I would let you know when that happens.
Okay.
I'll let you know the results as we go along because I think it's 2 weeks. I have to wait or something. So there's a waiting period on certain things. And once I get the confirmation, you know, I'll just spread the word to the group. Okay?
Good. Thank you.
So basically, Patrick's way of doing it is getting it all paid off up front. Well, that's getting out of the system. That's all, probably like a few.
Yeah, he's doing a money order, but he also developed recently this online system, but that's only for companies that are set up to be doing online payments.
I see.
Most utility companies are set up that way. Western Union is set up that way, but evidently it's not working. At least what Pat Dowling did wasn't working.
Yeah, Western Union isn't, but my other cards were, and it was Western Union that was canceled.
Right.
Sorry, I got the.
Wait a minute, your Western Union card was
They have their little corner on the market. They don't want you to upset it.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be careful. I'm just doing online stuff. I'm not like going crazy. I'm just trying to clear up bills. Everything is one bank to another bank. You know, like I'm doing everything that you know, like okay, if I pay something off with the routing number and the account number, it's from one bank to another bank. I don't see any cash. So I think that's why it's probably under the radar so far, unless I, you know, buy a $3 million.
Did you have a Western Union credit card or Western Union debit card?
Oh, no, I don't know. I didn't do. Yeah.
Neither. You go to the Western Union and put in your routing number of your bank and account number.
And then it goes to your bank. So it was really bank to bank, but they still
bank to bank. But what we're using for our bank is actually our account at the Treasury, and then we're sending it to the commercial bank that Patrick wants us to stay away from.
Right.
So, I mean, we maybe send it there and get it out 2 days later.
Well, when you send it, they'll get it before they get it out.
I wonder, Thomas, I wonder if we can go to the post office, take the routing number and the account number and say, listen, I've got my account. Can you give me, the money orders? Here it is. Here's the account number. Here's the routing number.
No, they don't take checks.
No.
They don't take checks, figures.
They don't take checks at all, and they don't take this one electronic check.
Yeah.
Right.
What were you saying before about putting it on Direct Express?
Pardon?
If people have Direct Express, that you could do it there.
One of Patrick's last money orders was to get the paid instead of to you in cash or deposited to your commercial account, is to have it deposited in a Direct Express account. It's a Commercia bank.
That would be a bank, yeah, that way.
That's a bank, but I think it's associated with the Treasury, and I think it ends up being more of a Treasury account than an endangered bank account. That's only my opinion right now, and it's not founded on anything.
Yeah, it's their bank.
Yeah, I think the Treasury accounts, I think, are probably a little safer than commercial banks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not by a Treasury account.
Could you do it on a debit card?
If you get a Treasury Direct Express card, that's a debit card to the Treasury system.
Okay. Well, I'm finna upload this stamp to you for you guys if y'all want to check it out,
Okay.
ladies and gents and ladies. So.
Where are you going to put it, in the Skype group or mail it?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the Skype group, and then I'm going to send it over to you just in case if people have problems with it.
Okay. Well, then I'll take it and post it up to the Yahoo group too.
Okay. And I want everyone to know this example comes from Divine Providence. I got this some years ago, and so if you want to use it, just read the steps. And you can look at, I even put in an example for the UPU, and all you need is an Avis program. You can get that off free off the internet, and you can pretty much make your own stamps.
A what program?
An Avis program. It's like a print master program.
Okay. Are you talking about Avery or Avis?
Yeah, Avery. It's all of it is written on there, Tom.
Avery is the label maker, and they have software to be able to print out on labels.
Yeah, just because, like I said, everything is on there, and I've been using it, and I don't have a problem.
Okay.
So I'm gonna load it up for you guys now.
Very good. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Tim. I'm the Santa Claus. Who the guy was saying Santa Claus earlier. I was going to say, my experience with what I've been doing with like pay.gov, and I know that is like saying some things like, don't mess with it, but I think it's to pay the public debt, you can go there and pay the public debt, because I was under the impression that the debt, when we go into, like, for instance, pay the debt, then like the debt that we have, the 17 trillion or whatever it is supposed to be credit. We're not depositing the debt in order to release the credit. That's my understanding. Is that right?
Well, from what Patrick says, that was my understanding, but it may not be correct. I have to.
Well, here's what I did with
it's probably partially correct.
Well, it was something good, because I went and did, like, I had like a closed checking account, and I was like doing 250,000 at a time, right? And I'd do them in 10 set blocks, so 2.5 million at a time, right? And I was just like curing the account, and I was doing it with my closed checking account, and I wasn't getting any flack until I tried to write a $250,000 check into my account, and then they came back and sent it back on me, and now they closed my account because I did another 9,000 that I went and pulled out real quick before they got it. But anyway, so what I was doing is I was trying to be rendering aid to the battlefield by giving to pay the debt. But now I'm using the other numbers that y'all discussed yesterday, and they go through also. So I just did like 2.5 million last night. And so on the pay.gov.
Okay.
So using my number, the number on the back of the social as the routing, and the account number as the passport, and it went through. So I'm like going, maybe I've got something.
You did this on a closed checking account?
No. I was doing them previous to that, but I was thinking the bank is keeping that because it's on ACH. If they kick them back, the bank can do something with it, right? And I think they were doing just lying in their pockets there. And I thought I was, conditioning the account a little bit, and they wouldn't even go, let one of my, $250,000 checks go through. So I said, okay, I'm not going to deal with those guys. Now I'll just do it right from my own account and my passport account, and it worked.
You are?
Tim.
Tim? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you on the Skype?
My thing is a Zending on there, but I was going to say there's another avenue you can take, TeamSpeak. If you look at that, that was a good way to handle it, to where people could they could blog in, or they could communicate with each other, and plus you'd have specific people that could talk. It was pretty cool. But if you look at TeamSpeak, that's a nice avenue. I mean, I don't know what it costs, or if it does. From my standpoint as a user,
in terms of the call, I have another way of doing it, which actually is more secure because I can mute individual people. So that
you can do it that way. Yeah.
We can get rid of this undisciplined, inconsiderate callers.
Yeah.
And it also has the ability to doing some screen sharing, so we could show documents.
Yeah.
Hey Tim, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What when you did the routing number and the account number, where did you send that money?
I just extracted it, because when I'm paying the public debt, I'm doing that from the pay.gov side, and that's the public side, and I'm paying debt. But I paid it with my own passbook account, right? And so by doing that, I'm trying to condition or season the account or whatever. So when I go and put some other things through there, probably tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and hopefully it will be seasoned enough to where they'll let those things slide. But I'm figuring if I pay a little debt, I can get a little out. That's the way I look at it.
Can we talk about this sometime? How can we contact each other?
On my the Snowman, there's a Google account. It's Santa Claus.
Unless you want to do another call with Tim, we can refine it. If we refine it, it'll help all of us.
Because I look at it like, if you're paying the public debt, that's how we get access to those funds. I mean, they can do what they want to do with it. I just want to, have.
So right now you're not using.
He was saying with her what she was doing with the college fund for her kids. That was great. That's awesome.
So
so
you're not using it yet to pay some expenses for yourself. You're just paying the public debt.
Yeah, I just did 2.5 million last night, and so now my next endeavor is going to be something like a house or a farm up in Oregon or something like that. That's what I've got my eyes on.
Yeah, but where did you when you do the routing number and the account number and you put 2.5, it has to go somewhere. Where did you go? You went into the Federal Reserve.
I went to the one like we just discussed on the back of the social with the letter. I converted the number.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
What?
Who received those funds?
The Department of the Treasury.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and it's right on pay.gov, and it'll say on one of the little lines on the bottom, it'll say ways to reduce the public debt, and then you just follow those links, and you go through and do it, and that's what I was doing. I don't know that it'll do any good, but hopefully it will, because.
But it's taking money out of.
Well, you can look at it that way, but there's plenty there, so.
Oh my God.
Isn't the Treasury the Federal Reserve? The Department of Treasury is the Federal Reserve.
But you're giving money back to them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're giving.
I'm doing it trying to condition my account, and also so when I put another routing like for a house or for a farm, they're not going to blink at it. I'll do 10 blocks at $250,000 at $2.5 million at a time. And
it doesn't make sense.
I know.
I mean,
neither does any of their stuff. So I'm figuring if it doesn't make sense, maybe that's the way to go.
But it sounds like you're taking the money out of their drawer and putting it back in.
That's what he's.
Well, no, it's out of my drawer. It's my passbook, my passport.
It's like taking water from the deep end of the pool and putting it at the shallow end to balance things out. It don't work.
But that's what I understand, though. The thing is that you've got like all that debt, the $1 trillion of debt, which is actually credit. And this is how I'm thinking you access it. I don't know.
Well, I think
that's just what my heart says.
I think what you're doing it is almost like paying it forward.
Kind of, maybe.
Are you
yeah,
trying to get
look at it. It feels good to do
credit for that.
It feels good to like put $2.5 million and say and have them all go through. It's like wow. It builds
are you trying to create
also.
like a trade line?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to condition it a little bit. Yeah. And so, and I was doing that with my closed account, and that failed miserably because it was with a link to bank BOA. But and so that didn't work. And so I have to go and try it this other way with the passbook, and it went through. Because when I did it like with the
and how are you going to feel when you go to buy a farm and you don't have any money there?
I'll work that out. I'll come up with another solution. I'm not going to get discouraged just because I gave away some money because there wasn't I didn't even know about I had. Heck, I figured they were going to come knocking on my door and give me something that a white card. Who knows?
It's funny. Every time I use my credit card now, I just crack up. I laugh because what I do is after I use the credit card, I come and check my account, and then I use the routing number to pay it off, and I just crack up.
Really? That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, that's what I do because I have it hooked up to my, when you pay your credit card, you pay with your checking account, routing number, and account. I use my passport account and my routing number to pay it. It's hooked up automatically.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing to pay the public debt. Same account. I was just going to see if it was successful. That's why I did it. And now I can go for the bigger.
I think just by doing this with your credit cards, your loans, we are healing the debt by doing this.
Yeah, you are. You're correct.
From the bankers.
You're correct. Yeah, you're correct.
Well, I can tell you guys something. I made a purchase on something about a year ago today, and they delivered it to me. And I've been using my stuff online since last year. I'll do it.
Right. That's what we like to hear.
Hold on, wait a minute. I get a confirmation. They'll email me a confirmation. Sometimes they'll say, they'll send me another bill saying I owe this, and they'll put all the other invoices in there saying I owe from way back when, and I'll pay that up. In other words, I keep paying them over and over and over, but they never can pick the stuff up. I've been doing this for a year.
Are you using the same accounts that we were speaking of?
Yes. Now, I just did one with the passbook account. That's the first time I did it. But I've been using the back of the card ever since.
Oh, but you've
never
given
them one dime
in the past. So they might not be coming back this time. Oh, excuse me.
Amor, you this is the first time you used the passport account and your routing number?
Yeah, this is the first time I've used the passport. Yeah, this is the first time I used the passbook. First time.
How did that work for you?
Well, I just did it just for I did it, and they emailed me back a confirmation, thanking you.
That's awesome.
And all that other mess. Yeah.
So it worked.
Yeah.
And
well, I've been doing it all along with the stuff I've been doing.
What
account number you been using? Excuse me.
The back of the social.
That was the routing or the account?
No, that's
wasn't why I was
routing.
kicking back because you might have been using the wrong account number or something. No, so now that you got the PP number, you might not be getting the bills all collecting again and coming back at you.
Well, if they come back at me, I pay them again the same way.
Yeah, it'll be good to see and you to share what your experience is there to find out if it's like zeroed out. That'll be cool.
Well, no, you're not hearing what I'm saying. You do it. I've done it. It goes on. Sometimes it comes back. Okay, it was sent back. Okay, fine. I'll pay it again.
I got you.
I'll pay it back. Do it again.
What are you paying? What are you paying them more?
I ain't say what I'm paying because we're on an open line, but I'm paying on bills that way. If they say
Right.
they came back, I pay it again.
You're paying on bills. Okay, that's what I wanted. Right.
I mean, if it's a bill, I pay it again. If they well, kick back, okay, well, I pay it again.
So did they
kick back, I pay it again.
When they delivered that thing you were talking about, did they drive it to your house?
Sure enough did.
That's good. That's good. That's what we like to hear.
I never gave them $1 out of my pocket. I pay it again. Pay it again. They say, we came back. Well, I pay it again. Thank you very much for your payment.
I have a question for
came back. I pay it again. Thank you very much for your payment. You want another? I pay it again.
See, now, you know what Patrick was saying about taking it back and talking to the the comptroller of currency, and then if I had a revenge bone in my body, I would go up against that bank and say, hey,
look at
you
here.
took like 20 million out of my stuff.
All right, listen here. Every time I get a confirmation and a thank you letter that we received it, that means they got it.
Yeah, you're
well,
right.
Later on, I'm going to do my OID and use all them thank you letters as a credit and say, pay me my money back.
Oh,
you said I had input went through.
And that's the beauty of that thing about pay.gov, because you get a receipt for each $250,000 transaction you initiate, and you get it to print that copy of that confirmation and everything. Right? It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, okay, you said it didn't go through, well, fine, I'll pay it again.
So you're saying we could pay off some debt that way and then do an OID against it to get that money for ourselves?
You do the OID at the end of the year, because if you do that stuff 12 times a year, at the end of the year, coming up between now and April 15th, I'm going to take and do an OID on all the invoices they mailed me. I kept them all.
Okay.
And what I'm getting ready to do is do a warranted claim against all of those invoices. And I'm going to send those in and tell them to give me my stuff.
There you go. I like that.
Okay.
Now, Pat don't like doing those. Pat don't like the UCC process, but I have to put a lien on it. Then once I put the lien on it, I'm going to do the assignment. Somebody's got to get an assignment. Since you work for government, you a trustee, you got an assignment. You got something to do. Do your job. I just told you what to do. I give you an executive order. You follow what I'm saying?
Tim,
yes.
How can we reach you? By email or Skype or something?
Yeah, somebody said Santa Claus was making noise earlier. So how do they see that I was like making that noise? Because I can give it over the airwaves, but when I do that, I have people calling me that don't leave me their phone numbers and stuff, and it's kind of like aggravating.
Well,
I want to try to talk to somebody, but it's like.
Are you on the Skype? Are you on the Skype call?
I was trying to get on it, but it said I didn't have any credits.
If you were on the Skype call, when people on Skype talk, I can see that because there's a blue frame around their icon.
Now, also, you have to understand is nobody is sending nobody's sending nothing to the 3 credit bureaus to let them know that this stuff has been credited and paid. And the credit bureaus are supposed to bring your score up.
That's what you have to follow up on with those confirmation of payments.
Right.
You got a confirmation. I didn't make it up. They did it.
No, I know it. You show the credit bureau that you paid it, and they will. Yeah, that's how you do it. And then you get them to like take it off. Say, hey, I've got confirmation. I paid it.
It was never. No, it's not an off. It was never. My point is, you giving that to them for them to put credit on my file.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
I guess you could do it
on the crowd. Huh?
You could do it reverse then also. Then just say, hey, they established credit with me and I paid it. Here's the thing. Here's the tracking.
That's right. Don't wait for them to do it. You do it.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
I have a question for you guys.
Go.
If I understand what you're saying correctly, based on what we've discovered about the letter with that number on the back of the Social Security card, that represents the Federal Reserve Bank, which has a routing number. And then you are also saying that number after the letter is an account number. So is that a complete system that they're giving us on the back of the Social Security card with the routing number and an account number?
No, the number on the back is a pass-through number. That's an account number. Yeah, that is an account number.
But the letter also represents a Federal Reserve Bank that has a routing number.
Right. No, that letter becomes a zero.
Right, but if you use the letter to represent a routing number, then you have a complete number for an EFT.
I hear what you're saying, but what if you got a letter that's got 2 digits? Because them things go all the way up to L. And L is not a single digit. That'll make it 10 numbers on it.
Right.
But then again, put 10 on there. Might not hurt.
Yeah.
Because account numbers do have up to 10. Some of them have up to 13 numbers on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw an account number on another document with 10 on it. I'm trying to remember where it was.
I've seen up to 13 numbers on those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the routing number is a 9-digit, but the account number could be any kind of number. It has to be, the account number should be at least 10 or at least 9 or more.
Okay, and credit cards at 16.
Yep, could be.
Okay. And can we call it a night, or do you have some more specific questions?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. How can you have a credit card? Think about this. How can somebody give you credit?
Somebody asked could they join. I told them yeah.
But they never tell you where they got it from.
That's a good question.
What I'm saying was, if you keep on taking, if you got a pocket and you keep pulling out credits and say, here you go, 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 and your pockets never get empty, somebody's gonna ask yourself, well, wait a minute, where are you getting all this credit from? Because if you gave 100 people credit and 60 people paid it back, what happened to that other 40 people? Because according to the laws of physics, you're supposed to have bad credit, not me. How can the bank run your credit when the banks have clearly said that they couldn't? The banks was clearly bailed out recently by the Obama administration, so they should have bad credit. How come their credit ain't bad? You follow what I'm saying? How can they continue to lend you something, and if you don't pay it back, their credit rating is still good, but yours is bad? How is that possible?
Well, now you're talking about the fiat money system where they're leveraging it like crazy, and it's a fractional reserve. So, that really isn't credit. That's just virtual debt.
And again, the same game that they play, I know to play the same game. It's like I do trade lines all the time.
Right.
But the thing about it is, nobody knows the secret on how them things work. And I know a lot of folks be saying, well, I can get you some trade lines. And I be like, well, okay, who does it? Well, who can get me some trade lines? They usually introduce me to somebody who's a third, fourth, or fifth party person. He doesn't really do them for you. He knows somebody else that can get them for you. So wait a minute. Then you never really meet a person that actually know how to do them, have you? Nope. I guarantee you, any of you people have ever got trade lines done, you've never actually met the person that can do them. Well, I'm going to let you in on the secret. I know how the dang going to do it. I've figured out the scam they've been pulling. It's really not a scam. The problem is the people don't understand that you can give credit to each other. And it has to be done using the UCC process. Whether you believe that or not, that is the key.
Bills of exchange?
No, I ain't saying a bill of exchange. I said the UCC process is how they create trade lines, whether you believe that or not.
Oh, yeah, like if I write a check into your account and you write one into mine?
No, don't work that way. That's not what we're saying. I said trade lines where you create credit, where you can bring up your credit score. Because due to the fact that you borrowed something and paid it back within 90 days. 90 days same as cash, which means no doggone taxes was incurred. No interest was incurred. As long as no interest was incurred, you ain't got to worry about no dang on being in bed with the IRS. Now, how the person paid you back is between you and that person. He might have cut your grass, or he might have doggone came and washed your toilet out or something.
And you can still stay in the private and still deal in the UCC. Just you have to use that.
Look, this is what the UCC is. It's private. It is private.
Yeah.
What you can go into the public to let them know you've done something. That's why when you do the stuff, your private security agreement with who you did it with is private. You don't file the security agreement in the private. You just only file the number of the security agreement, if that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. But you have the right to go into the public if you want to, and you have a right to stay in the private. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you're only dealing with credit. You're only dealing with the public with credit. You know what I'm saying? Mm. There's no money being exchanged. It's all just nothing but credits. And the only thing you try to do is get your score up.
Isn't that kind of like what they do in the merchant business, whatever, trader acceptance, like when the bank is going to pay for something? There's always these checks and balances like going on, but no cash is no cash is really going on. It's just signatures and great acceptances and I think Article 8.
Now don't get me wrong. I learned my stuff from some Italians and a couple of Jews. I studied amongst them for a minute. Now there were some crooks the way they was doing stuff, but they liked me because they knew I was on the show. I didn't do anything. I wasn't down with that mess they was down with. But I knew how to shut up and listen. So I basically figured out what they were doing. Sure enough, did.
You know how to sell what?
I figured out what they was doing, and it works like a charm. The stuff that Pat is talking about is for real. It is for real.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But you're not going to get any lawful money at them folks. It depends on what you call lawful money. All I'm looking for, and you're just looking for the credit. You just want to get your attaboy, the pat on the back, get your credit score up.
Like what you're like the young lady was saying about paying the bill and then immediately just charging it off or paying it with the PP and that way. You're immediately giving yourself good credit, right?
Right. Listen, at the end of each fiscal year, you're supposed to take all those coupons that they sent you. You've already given them your energy, whether it be a check or money order or Federal Reserve note. You've already paid them. You're supposed to keep those invoices at the end of the year. You're supposed to do a 1099 OID. Send that in with your 1099C and your 1099A. Some people might throw a B in there. Depends on what you're doing. That right there is how you get your return, because now you've already been taxed. They're really being taxed because you paid it. Look at it like a job. You got a job. You're working all year round. They're taking stuff out your check. You're supposed to get a tax return because you've already paid it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But what about when you pay your debts, your bills? You pay it with your hard-earned sweat. In other words, you had to become like Job, get a J-O-B, because they did a job on you. Remember, Your hedge fund is your original estate, which is the birth certificate. And what happened is the system did a Bernie Madoff, and they made off with all your assets and tricked you. And so you're supposed to come back in and do like Job did and gave them forgiveness. Okay, you're supposed to be forgiven. Remember, in the book of Job, it was the people that bought him precious gold and metal. It was the people that gave him his remedy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because God and Satan already made a deal and a bet. God is a betting man in the Bible. I'm not making this stuff up. And after God won the bet, in fact, it was God that brought the plague on him. Only thing that the devil
I know. I
did
can't understand this black guy. They talk so much jive or have such a thick accent. It just warps my brain. I'm like, oh my God, I can't take any more of this. I was like, I got to call Gail up and see how she's doing. They just like to hear themselves talk.
You're on the call, Stephen.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people do talk and he want to hear themselves talk.
The fucking assholes.
Straight up busted.
Oh no! I mean, look, that's Mr. Asshole out here.
No, we should like do a caption or do a whole tape of just him swearing.
Who's swearing?
And then record it, put it on your phone or something, like when people call you. Have Patrick answer your phone.
Oh, well, look here. See me, I don't cuss. I don't cuss.
I'm going to leave a fucking message. Just speak into
the You're still not muted.
Yeah.
We should hire him to cut a tape, and then we could make money, man. We could sell that.
Stop with them, make money, man, and tape it. Get off the phone.
You can't make money because you don't have a license to make money.
There is no money.
And get is like climbing up. She's popping money into her daughter's college or something. And
who are you talking?
Gave him like $50,000.
Tom, would you stop that guy?
That's great.
I don't think he's really funny.
Nice to have.
I don't think he knows he's
passport
on.
and all that stuff to make it work. Figure out how to make it work.
I think he knows he's on, and he's just doing it on purpose.
We are hearing your private conversations, Steve.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he is. I mean, the other guy, he is saying some things that make a whole lot of sense. And
tell him to put it back in his pants. Get a room, man.
I don't know what's wrong with this other guy. That's just wrong what he's saying. That's just wrong.
He's just trying to get a date. That's all.
But again, you know what? That was cold blooded too. You know,
wait, no. Hey.
Yeah, that was cold.
Well, you got to understand, you got to be like the butler. You got to be like a fly on the wall. Of course, you hear him in there talking trash and doing what they do. But the butler, he was very courteous. He was a good servant. He never opened his mouth.
Yeah, that's true. And he knew everything. He learned a lot of stuff, too.
Right.
Yeah. He learned a lot of stuff. So, go ahead, man. Hey, did you guys get the label? And also, if you want to know what it's for, it's like where you put your mailing stamp, that's where you put the label. Okay?
Right.
One is...
I got the two files, and
right.
I'm looking at them, too. But I'm going to post them up on Yahoo in the morning after I look at them very carefully.
Thanks, Tom. Because someone said something about the thumbprint and signature. If you want to do that, you can. Okay, but like I said, I've used it, and I haven't had a problem with it because it's so much that it's a certain amount, which a very large amount, that you can use just on the stamps alone, period. And like I said, I went to the UPU. I learned the stuff from them. I also learned it from this other group. And when I tried it myself, it works. It works. Okay. And sometimes they might try to be like little jerks and try to rip them off. So put a little super glue on it. and put it on there. That way it can't rip them off. And a lot of them just dropping in the mailbox because it says prepaid. And the first two numbers, actually, that's the letter on the back of your Social Security number.
This may be similar to something else that I did, sending mail with 3-cent stamps.
Yeah, it's like a tax for children.
On that one, they said, and you weren't supposed to put any zip codes, and you're supposed to spell the state out and all that kind of stuff.
You don't have to do that.
I was able to mail them until I explained to my small town post office what I was doing, and then they blocked them.
Yeah, because you wasn't supposed to do that. It was supposed to be non-domestic. You wasn't supposed to do that.
Tax per Q. Watch that because it covers both the 3-cent, 2-cent, and
right.
And it shows you the codes to how to do the envelope and everything.
Right.
And it actually does work.
Other point it made is don't deposit it in an outside mailbox. Only deposit on an inside mailbox.
I was going to say that. Tom, they make a mistake in that video, and they try to educate the retail side, and that's just wrong. But that was a year ago.
Yeah, and that's because, I think because I can't, it leads me to wonder, why is people buying stamps when you are an employee of the post office? So don't that mean you're supposed to create your own? That didn't make sense.
Actually, for me right now, I probably won't pay much attention to that right away because I'm still trying to go after the big money with the money orders and all of that. And then once I've got the big items taken care of, I'll clean up the mail system.
Hey, I'll be doing that next week.
Nice.
Okay.
Good.
Where's that other gentleman? I like to hear him talk.
Oh, Amor?
Yeah, I like to hear him talk. If he's still out there, come on back.
Well, I'm still here, but y'all understand this. But what I'm telling you guys, I'm not telling you something that I believe in. I'm telling you something that I do. I got the proof. I do it all the time. And it sounds so far-fetched. It does kind of shock the consciousness a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Everything that Patrick has been talking about, I've actually done the stuff. In fact, there's probably somebody on this phone call that do know me and has came to see it with their own eyes. I just don't put it out there in the world like that. I'm not telling you something I'm talking about. I'm telling you something that's real. That's real. It works.
Do you share your emailers?
Yes, I do email stuff from time to time.
No, do you share it?
Do I share it? If I email, I mean I'm sharing it.
Of course.
But like I said, some of the stuff that I'm talking about, you have to see with your own eyes. You know what I'm saying?
I believe all this stuff happens. I don't need to see it.
Okay, well, me, I don't believe in talking. I have to show you.
Well, if you got some stuff, throw it out there, man. I mean, if you got something, throw it out there. Share it.
Well, if there's anybody on the phone that do know me, you know my voice. If you're on the phone, I ain't saying who you are. And if you've been to my one of my places I dwell in, all you got to do is open your mouth and say, hey, yeah, I've seen it. You got my permission to say it? Well, I guess nobody's on the phone that knows me like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to talk about one further thing about the checks I sent in, deposited like $250,000 checks, 2 of them, and then they send me back a copy of it, and it says on that return thing, it says, you can use these just like the original. And I kind of go, what? I can use them just like the original, but you kept the original. What are you doing with that? And I can use this thing you returned saying I didn't do it right as the original. It makes no sense.
Well, if you try to use it again, that's called counterfeit. Once you in fact, if they made a copy of it and sent it back to you, and they just stamp on the copy, that's counterfeiting. That really is. You ain't supposed to send negotiable. You ain't supposed to copy negotiable instruments, and without putting copy across it, because if it's not the original, that's considered counterfeiting.
Well, they did put that vernacular on there, but I'm just saying they said I could use the copies just like the original. That's what I'm trying to convey.
Right.
In other words, they want you to. Oh, I understand, but what did they do with the original? They credit it?
They put it in my account and then took it back out. I did it on the closed account thing, and I was just at the same bank I do business at, which is stupid. I just was fed up. I want to just trying some things.
All right. In other words, you sent a negotiable instrument to a closed account.
I made the check myself because I can do that with the proper ink.
No, look, don't ever call those things check. That's a negotiable instrument.
Okay, thank you.
No, you don't ever use the word check.
Well,
I mean, even though it's fake.
There's another thing on there about checks that if you put like pay to rather than pay to the order of, that makes it like you're requesting lawful money. There's certain ways that you can put the vernacular on there to request lawful money, and that's one of them, the way I understand it. Or just write it on there.
It depends on what you call lawful money. You know what I'm saying? Because a Federal Reserve note is a note, but whatever kind of color of law they got it under is lawful money under this big system they got, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to be getting those silver certificates. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I understand. But it's just like the dollar has the two things. It has the Treasury or the Department of the Treasury, and then the other one, the debt side and the private side.
Now, the only thing I would use a silver certificate for is if I'm trying to bond something, okay? If I'm trying to do a warranty claim and bond something, I would attach the silver certificate to it with the serial numbers. I would fasten it to it with the serial numbers hidden. They would have to break the seal to see the serial number, but the serial numbers would be on the warranty claim. But the thing about that is, once you use a silver certificate, whenever you walk into, say it's a court proceeding, you better make sure you got a silver coin in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's a silver certificate and it's backed by silver, well, you know they ain't got no silver. You better have the silver.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do a silver bond like I see people out here doing, saying I got a silver bond. I see them photographing quarters, but I be like, okay, I see the quarters or the coins, but where are the silver dollars that's supposed to be connected to those?
Mm-hmm.
Because each silver dollar better have a coin next to it. The coins don't have serial numbers on them, but those dollars do. So when you take that dollar and you present that, it has to be backed by that silver. Now that they've gotten it through the mail and they broke the seal, you've already paid them lawful money. Now you got your bond. See, they say they got bonds, but it ain't backed by nothing. If you got your silver, now you bonded. You can't bring a charge against me, but you insolvent your damn self.
Yeah, for the first time, you're making it click for me, because I had the hardest time. So what you're saying is making sense. Even though it doesn't seem like it's making sense, it's making sense.
Yeah, because when you're dealing with the crook, you got to think like a crook. Not saying I'm a crook.
It's not fair because you become the professional. You become the professional because they're like you say, crooks. They don't doing it wrong. So you have to do it doubly right to make it in order.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a paradigm shift.
And I know you guys have seen these folk out here using silver bonds. making up silver bonds. But however, that's nice and pretty, but where is the serial number that's going to be associated with it? So that's called a silver certificate. It's called a birth
it's on the dollar bill.
It's called a certificate. If you go to college or go to school, you got to get a certificate. If anything is certified, it's a certificate. You follow what I'm saying?
It's bondable. It's a certificate. It's bondable.
What I'm saying is, in order to have a bond, it has to be attached to some sort of earth. It has to be attached to some sort of substance. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's not grounded, it can't be bonded. It's no different than if you are dealing with electricity. If it's not grounded, you can't get a charge.
And we know in this system that the most money you can ever have is a $1 bill, a $1 Federal Reserve note, because anything after that is a derivative. It's from the system, and it goes 1/10, 1/5, and down to nothing. So we're really talking a $1 silver certificate.
And that goes back to
the dollar bill. Got that old certificate. That's what it is.
Remember, what makes up a dollar? You got 4 quarters. Each one in each corner represents a quarter. It takes 4 of those quarters to make a whole complete dollar. And a dollar is based on is based on what? 4. A dollar is really 1 silver coin. The Constitution, or what the law split, it states that no state has the power to coin money. You know what I'm saying? Coin money.
That's profound.
And if money is based on coins, where your coins at? You got a silver certificate, but you don't have the coins to back it up. You can't use that with an FRN. But when you're really creating a real bond, it must have that certificate attached to it. And it has to be given to them by what? The post office. Why? Because it was sent registered mail. That's a registered security. And so once they break that seal, they caught hook, line, and sinker. You know what I'm saying? So you can literally step right in there and just bounce your coin on the dang on table. And they know he got it. You follow what I'm saying?
Not really.
Well, the point is, you are bonded. Your bond has trumped their bond.
Okay.
Remember, somebody was actually talking about the bond just the other day, about trumping their bond. But people don't understand what they was meaning by a warranted claim. That is your warrant. That's your insurance
your
policy.
authority. Mm-hmm.
It is your authority because you the author. You wrote the document. You wrote the stuff. You put it in there. You authorized it. And you gave them cats something to do. You got to give them an assignment. If they want to play this game, fine. Give them something to do. Pay the trustees. If anybody has ever been in a real estate situation, they already know that who shows up in court. Trustees. Whether they substitute or not, they still trustees. But they don't realize, most people don't realize that they're going to make you the trustee. Most people don't realize that you've never filed nothing over in probate. If you're dealing with a criminal case, civil case, tax case, no matter what, it still has to be probated. Because what? Probate deals with wills, trusts, and estate. Your will is what the dead straw man has said. That is your testimony. That is your New Testament. Will can change at any time because there's always a new change of event. If you are the executor over that estate, you coming in with a new will. Why? Not you coming in with the will, but the straw man is. The straw man ain't got no hands, feet, or legs. You do. You follow what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yep.
And
A living
nobody
will.
never thinks about the fact that what is probate used for? You have to go to probate to change your name if you're getting married. You have to go to probate when you're dealing in real estate transactions. Why? Because they registered your stuff in the register of deeds. You should be known by your deeds. And if it wasn't registered, the court can't do nothing. That's why it was registered. If you want to get them off your mess, you got to still go back through the county registry. You got to change up. You got to do your what? Claim. You got to doggone reconvey something. Once it's reconveyed and you made your claim, then you file it over there. It's been registered. Now, they can change their books all day at that particular place in that court, what theirs is. But however, if it's been registered, it's been made public, now they can't escape. You follow what I'm saying? But if you don't make your claim, you have failed to say the claim upon which release could be granted. I know it's screwed up the way it's being done. You follow what I'm saying? But you're dealing with a bunch of crooks. You can't
have your will be done.
Fox makes you think like a fox. And that's all I'm saying right now, you know what I'm saying?
When it's done on earth, it's done in heaven, too.
That's right. In heaven,
they can't do a thing. They can't do a thing.
Right.
So it's up to us.
And where the heck is heaven? Heaven is where you traveling to. You let them know when you get there. Where are you going? I'm on my way to heaven. But where's that at? Look here. Look here. You don't know where it is. I know where heaven is, but where's it at? I know where it is. You got to let me go on about my business. Wherever heaven is, Mr. Officer, you can't be there. I'm a sojourner. I'm a journeyman. That's what's on my itinerary. I'm just a foreign neutral. I'm a non-combatant, as a good man said. I'm not a hostile. So why are you trying to treat me like a hostile? But then, if you bond it, he don't have a bond. He thinks he have a bond, but his bond can't trump your bond. And most of them are doing in-house bonding anyway, which is illegal. But the thing about it is the people are so divided, they're not coming to each other and say, hey, can I borrow some credit from you? Sure, I'll give you some credit. What are you going to do for me? Well, that's the ugly car you got there. If you use a paint job, I'll paint your car for you. Well, you ain't got to paint my car, but we'll put it on paper. That's what you did. You got any collateral? I got a toaster over there, and I got an old rinky-dink microwave. It don't work. And I got a little whatchamajig over there. It's got a serial number and a stock number on there. I'll get you 5 or 6 of those, and I know that so they don't work. But I'll still use it as collateral. My bank will use it as collateral. That's the collateral in order to get this thing going. Because the first thing a bank is going to ask you is for collateral. Well, I don't have any collateral. You got a Social Security number, sir? Well, it's right here. Well, then that's your collateral. Then they're going to trick you and make you think you got to give them a car or a house or something to put up. Which is crazy because you got to get a loan to buy the stuff that they want collateral for. You know what I'm saying? But, again, collateral is collateral. And you might say, well, that toaster has no value to it. It does to me. Because value is a spiritual thing. I can tell you what's valuable and what's not valuable.
Right.
And if it's valuable to you, then it must be valuable to me. It might be an old family heirloom. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
It might be the first rock you got hit upside the head with, and you kept that rock because it reminds you of who not to talk trash to no more. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to let the bank hold on to it, but you want to get it back because that's your memory. If the bank accepts it, it's accepted. They'll accept anything you give them if they accept it. But it's nothing but collateral. Everything's down on paper. I got an old creditors and collection handbook. I think I paid a quarter for it at Goodwill somewhere. I've had it for years. This thing was put out back in the late 70s, going right in the 1980s. This was before everybody had a computer. This was before everything went electronic. This is when the old folk knew how to do paperwork. And they got all the stuff right there. But this new stuff, you don't want to mess with that. That's it. That is your Declaration of Independence. Because all you got to do is pick up the pen. It's mightier than a sword. A pen can get you married. A pen can get you a divorce. A pen can make somebody fall in love with you if you write the right stuff on it. You can't even make a song or hit record without a pen. You follow what I'm saying? The judge has a pen. The prosecutor has a pen. The policeman has a pen.
That's why it's called penmanship.
Penmanship, that's correct. But it's all nothing but credit. Credit. Accounts payables, accounts receivables. Whatever you've seen has got to be returned. It's like I like what Pat said, you got to veto any bill they send you. You follow what I'm saying?
So do you think it's correct with the 17 trillion that we got for debt is actually credit then?
Well, remember, it's your credit.
Yeah.
This is what they have doggone hypothecated and sold out there. It has to be returned back to you, but if you don't have it, you won't receive. That's called a usufruct. If some people don't understand what that word means, that's like a cuss word to me.
Basically, we have to value that.
All you're doing is asking for your dividends back on it. That's what it is. When you're trying to collect your money back off of your real estate transaction, you have to do a 1099-C, a 1099-A, 1099-B, an INT, and a DIV. Actually, the C don't need to go in there. The C should have went somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But my point is,
excuse me, brothers.
They owe, huh?
I've been hearing you speak, and it makes so much sense. The bond, with the bond number and the certificate, the dollar bill. If you fold a dollar bill in half, you have the pyramid on one side and the seal on the other. If you put the seal facing outward on your bonded letter, the bond is sealed because bond is under seal.
Right.
And if you look at if you fold that paper, if you fold that dollar over, the number for that bond is under seal.
Right. And you have two seals. One is on the left, one is on the right. One has to pay homage to the other. The one on the left side, that is a seal that belongs to the land.
Yep.
That's what they mean by a piece of the pie. The pie is a pyramid. That's what you think the Pythagorean theorem is all based on. A squared equals B squared equals C squared. That's a triad.
Brother,
that's what the pirates use. Huh? The word pyramid is where you get the word pyro, a pirate.
Brothers and sisters, you can take that to the bank and turn it into gold.
But you are the bank. It's like he said. You are the bank. You've been the bank the whole time. But the thing is the people are not working with each other and being their brother's keeper. They're not bartering with each other. All of these entities out here are your trustees. They're there in place for a reason. You've already got my record of birth. You turn it into something else. You got my record. I apothecated it. It might be worth a couple of million, $100 million, or it might be worth a couple of billion. But okay, leave it out there. I just want my credit off the thing. I'm not trying to collapse the system. You know what I'm saying? It'll work if you work within if you work it right. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically what I was saying. Anybody else got anything else to say? No, we're still on.
Well, that sounds great.
No, we're just listening because I'm cooking.
Are you cooking?
Is the call still being recorded? I guess so. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I got to go, guys. You guys can yap away.
So, can I ask y'all one thing before you leave? I always hear mention of a website, and I'm like new to this, to you guys, the group, because try to join it, and the little numbers there, they try to. I felt inept because I did it like 10 times and it didn't let me in. But it was like the website. I didn't, because I've downloaded all the files just recently, but I just wanted to look at like the money order example, so I could perfect that and send that out to a couple places and have somebody deliver something to my house.
All the MO I sent, nothing came back to me.
Excellent.
And but some of the stuff I've recently done was based on nothing but just the conversations that Pat was having. I'm listening like a fly on the wall. I've been listening for a minute. A lot of times I never say nothing.
When you're saying you're having trouble with the website, which website are you talking about? Yahoo?
The one that's referenced. It's just, is that the only two places, Yahoo and then the
eConcurrent is a backup. Yahoo is the main group.
Yeah, yes, I guess, okay. I just was thinking a little paranoid when I didn't see it up there one time, the We the People, and I thought I had saved the group or whatever, but I was going, hey, they're trying to kill the group.
No, well, Yahoo has its problems. It sometimes you can't get to it because you can't log in properly. Sometimes you just simply have to kill the browser or reboot or go out and run a mile.
Right.
It gets bugs in it and it doesn't work properly. That's why we came up with a backup site, because it was looking like we're going to lose the files at one time.
Yeah, I felt that. So
I mean,
how can I share the information and then get with some of you other guys? Because I'd like to share some. Hear
a lot of dishes again.
That was me. I'm sorry. I was grabbing a beer. Y'all make me drink.
Beers. I knew that was a beer sound.
That's right.
Okay. Drink one for me.
Well, look at here. The Bible has a whole book dedicated to nothing but drinking.
Okay.
Called the Book of Hebrew. And it's Hebrew, I drink. It's a spiritual book. You laugh about it. Okay.
No. So here go one. How can someone get in touch with you to get a little bit more information?
Well, I will give you my email address, but it's an open line. But
that's
those
okay. We all good here.
They can send it to you. You follow what I'm saying? Who on this line that know me?
I know you.
Is that you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm
Tom?
here.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, you
Yeah,
shared before. Okay.
I went off for a while. My computer froze about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, man, knocked me off
You
too.
sound familiar, but your voice sounds a lot faster than I remember it.
Faster?
Maybe it's not who I think it is.
I'm Tom White.
Not you, Tom. The other guy.
Oh, okay.
Well, you talking about me or the guy that was giving us a little juice on the brain earlier?
You're the Reverend.
Yeah, it's me. Did you want to ask me something or tell me something?
What I was saying was, if anybody want my email, you can send it to them privately if you know these folks, but I'm not going to give it out on an open line like this.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
In fact, it's kind of ironic I'm even running my mouth like this, but you know how that goes. I try to stay in the woodwork, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. So I can post it to our chat group, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I will do that.
So how do you access that, Tom? I'd like to get that and share mine also there.
Have
you read the welcome email?
Well, it might be better off, Tom. It might be better off if they call me and email me. Okay, if they email me, they need to put the number up. Okay.
Okay.
That way I can call them back.
Okay, very good, very good. I will do that.
So that'll be in the Yahoo group, Tom?
Yeah, the welcome email is sent out when you join, and it's also sent out every 2 weeks. And it was sent out again yesterday at 6 p.m. And it contains how to access the groups, how to access the files, where to find the calls, and all the information about how to process the website.
Oh no, this is Libram. This is Libram, Tom.
No, but he asked how to join the Skype groups. The directions for the different Skype groups are there. Though when I go set up a different way of calling in, I will change around the Skype call group. We probably won't have that anymore. Okay. Everybody will have their own Skype address so that they can call the conference call direct, and we won't have to have this traffic jam of calls where my computer keeps crashing.
Oh, that sounds good.
And that just not to deface that one, Tom, but the TeamSpeak it was cool. I got to do it with a couple of Illuminating Mind people, and they were like it worked really nicely.
What was that?
The TeamSpeak.
Oh, okay.
Like a nice format to have this, because everybody can have like a chat going on while you're having the conversation. It's pretty cool.
Well, we have a chat group here that people can chat on Skype, and that works well. That's not causing us any problems.
Okay.
However, I find chats during important conference calls very distracting, because it's almost like no one's listening to the call. They're just having a social occasion.
Gotcha. That can happen too. Yeah.
So most of the chats I've seen are totally disconnected from what the call's about. They're making jokes to each other and all kinds. That doesn't happen on our Skype group.
Well, on these particular ones that I was talking of, it has like little sections. If they want to take a side chat out and do that BS, they can. But on the main chat,
right,
business, yeah.
Yeah, we stay mostly with business. We try to focus with that. Okay. Yep. Very good.
This call being recorded.
Yes, and I'm just about to end the recording.
All right.
Okay. So here it goes. Goodbye. Goodbye recording, though. You can stay on and talk if you want.
Hey, Tom. You wanted an email? My email. I'll give it to you when you stop recording, and that way you can share it with the others or whatever. And then if they have any questions about what I was doing, because I'd like to share it because